Hello, my name is Yewande. Welcome to Knitting the Blues. Oh, that's me. And I made this. Okay, I mean, they made the wool and someone else spun it, but I was the one who took it from this to this. My story starts here. Well, kind of. This is Abubakar Fofana, master indigo dyer and teacher. My love for indigo is deep and long. And when I found out that Fofana was this amazing teacher, I started sending him telepathic messages, trying to get him to understand that I am the student he's always been waiting for. Well, my telepathic skills leave much to be desired, so of course he doesn't know I exist. But while I wait to hopefully learn at the feet of a true indigo dyeing master, I thought I'd just start to play around in my own kitchen. That's what today is all about. Today I'm going to take you on this journey with me, how I took the African Expressions enchanted base undyed yarn and dyed it with black beans and coffee. But before the coffee idea, I walked around my garden with hope in my heart that I might find some plants that I could do the natural dyeing with. These are some nasturtiums, which are one of my favorite plants. Nope, nothing there, just some dying marigolds. Say hi to the lavender. Hi, lavender. Ooh, there's the eucalyptus. I do love eucalyptus. I don't have enough to create any dye with. And then these beautiful blossoms, but I didn't think they would work either. So coffee and black beans it is. I had some expired coffee in the cupboard and I bought the black beans at a nearby convenience store. Let's get to it. A lot of what I have learned so far about natural dyeing, I have learned from watching countless amounts of podcasts online. I need to just preface this entire demonstration by stating that I am a complete novice, and I invite you to also peruse the internet and explore the many really amazing tutorials that exist. I will put links to a few of them in the show notes below. We're now going to get into the demonstration. I have divided this video into 3 sections. I talk about all the materials you need. I then talk about and also go through the process with you of dyeing, and then I show the result. Well, of course, there's the notebook. Nothing wrong with the notebook as part of your tools. And my lovely pen, I could just show off a bit. My dad gave me this pen. When my father gave it to me, I think my first book was coming out. He said, I've got something for you. Do you guys still use these? Yes, Daddy, we still use pens. Thank you so much. I'll treasure it. And I have. And then this is the precious Dyestuff that I've been preparing now for 3 days. And what is it? I've got 1 jar of coffee granules that have just been sitting and taking, getting the, extracting the dye from the coffee for several days. The other dye stuff that I'm using is black beans. And I use the whole packet of black beans. I'm going to take this to the light if we can enjoy. Maybe we can look to see can see it's purplish, which is what it's supposed to be. And then when you put it in the dye, eventually it's supposed to be blue. Let's find out if it's going to happen. I'm hopeful, as you can imagine. And then this is just a tray I got, if I have to carry wet wool to the sink or something like that, I don't want it to drip. I meant to say also for the pot. The pot's perhaps a bit shallow, you might think. It's just what I have. I didn't want to spend money and buy some pot. I'm going to look around, for instance, on Gumtree and see if I can find a secondhand deep pot. The plan is to do one skein with coffee and one skein with the black beans. Okay, so that's the materials. The next thing is the process. I've divided the process into 4 steps. I'll show you my notes. The steps can, be a bit haphazard, as mine has been, but these are the important steps. Prepping the wool, including mordanting the wool, prepping myself, especially safety-wise, prepping the dye stuff, and then doing the actual dyeing. Okay, I'm going to talk to you about prepping the wool. Of course, you get the wool or the fiber. Now, the first step with the prepping the wool is to scour the wool. Scouring it, essentially, as I understand, means cleaning it. You want to dye on a clean surface. If you dye on a clean surface, there's less between the dye stuff that you're applying and the actual fiber that you want it to reach. I've pre-scoured. I'll put a few details of the process, but there's also a lot of resources, and I include a few resources down in the show notes. Another step of prepping the wool, and I will be doing that today, is mordanting. I love that word, mordant. So mordant, what is it to mordant? Mordant is basically a process that you put the wool through to help the dye adhere to the fabric. You don't have to mordant, but mordant is something you can do to support the dye process and ensure that your dye attaches really strongly to the wool and stays forever or for as long as possible, through a number of washes and through sun exposure. Then there's prepping myself, fairly easy. Mask, gloves. If you want to wear an apron, you can. And then there's prepping the dye stuff. And now, let's do the mordanting. Okay, so to mordant, you want to always understand what the dry weight of your wool is. So this is just a kg, it's 99 grams. So I've been hoodwinked. 1 gram of wool has been taken from me. Oh, the joke's on me. This is 101 grams. Okay, so I'm just going to even it out. Let's say they're each 100 grams. So I'm dealing with 200-gram skeins of wool. To calculate for the mordant using alum, there are different ways to calculate. And one of the ways, and the way that I'll be using, is the weight of fiber. And from what I've seen, the percentage ranges for alum from 7 to 15. Let me just look at my notes. I did write that here somewhere. This book is a lifesaver. Weight of fiber ratio. Okay. So it says 15% alum, 5% cream of tartar. So 15% will be 15 and 5% will be 5. I need 5 grams of cream of tartar and I need 15 grams of this. And I'm going to mix them in this container. And I will put the alum first. I guess I should wear the gloves that I've been advertising. Okay, I'm feeling quite good about that. Quite good about that. Okay, I think we can go to the next step. So in this step, I am going to put this in here. I'm going to pour this into the pot. We'll see soon enough how it survives. Just put a little bit more water now that I've added it there. Okay, now I'm going to take it to the stove. I'm going to let it sit in this heat and sit on the stove top for about 30 minutes to an hour. I have mordanted the wool. This is the first skein that I am now going to dye. This is damp, so you still want it damp. The dampness, but it's rinsed after the mordant, and the dampness helps the dye take. So I'm going to start with the black beans, and I have to obviously get the beans out. So I'm going to simply strain this into here. Dark, dark, dark color. I'm now going to just place this in the dye bath and put it on the stove.